Hello, my name is Dan Leoskar. I'm a co-founder and chairman of EON Reality, and we're going to talk today about the use of virtual and augmented reality in aerospace. Personally, I have a background in aerospace. I've been working as a rocket scientist and also working for Volvo Aerospace over 2 decades ago, and been in contact with using simulation technology for aerospace for a long time. Now, the way we use virtual reality and augmented reality, the principle for that is quite similar, although virtual reality is far more cost efficient than a simulator is. So VR simulation-based learning is something we use to train technicians and others to grasp concepts faster, remember, retain information longer, and make better decisions. Augmented reality is something we use as a part of providing contextual information and knowledge on the site when a worker needs it or someone. And then the way we interact with aerospace customers or partners is by clearly understanding their needs they have and jointly reaching a quantifiable set of outcomes. That's kind of the principles of what we do. And as a lot of you have heard about virtual reality and augmented reality, I would say most of you, maybe, that are new to this, think about things like headset, virtual reality glasses, augmented reality glasses, but in fact, it's much more than that. It could be rooms like the ones you see here, where the user is totally immersed in an interactive environment. So what we're looking at is the ability to a little bit like in holodeck, right? So you see this room, and then you can populate that room with, for example, an aircraft interior, and you can have a person that's in another location, let's say Montreal, where the lady here is in Los Angeles, but they are in an aircraft interior that does not yet exist. You can also be highly immersed, but also interact and do things in these environments. Interesting with EON is the fact that you can use the same platform, the same augmented virtual reality software, and then interact either in an immersive room, like the one you see here. The gentleman is presenting Honeywell component there, or you can be in a personal environment, like the one you see here, where the screen is manipulated and interacted using the hand movements. Or you can even, which is what's happening a lot now, use a smartphone or a tablet, in this case, and I can show you a maintenance application for an engine, to go and learn about this engine step by step what to do, as well as continue the experience using headsets in a more immersive way. Interesting enough, this doesn't stop there. Augmented reality glasses, something we've been working for 5-6 years, and now they become more cost efficient and available, allows you to do this type of experience or learning in the context of a factory or a physical environment. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in my presentation. How about EON Reality? Well, we've been in business for 17 years. Currently, we are the world leader in respect to virtual reality and augmented reality knowledge transfer, and focus a lot in targeting our partners and industry partners, as well as educational institutions. In this specific segment, we are the world leaders, and what distinguishes us as a company is that based on this wealth of doing a lot of projects for industry, we have developed a platform that enables you to run, manage, access, store, host, and distribute augmented and virtual reality applications. It has a few core components that I'll describe a little bit further later, add-on modules, and also developing tools. It's a full end-to-end solution. With that, we are developing our applications in, for example, aerospace. And then the publishing is conducted either on handheld devices or personal devices, as well as more of a desktop environment, all the way to large immersive rooms. Another interesting thing with our approach and our platform is that it's agnostic, both in terms of what type of data you import and what the output is. So we can import from around 120 forms of 3D data or virtual reality data, including 360 videos, images, CAD, animation packages, scanning, etc., and then can publish literally from a phone all the way to the dome. We do have also a global presence by having established interactive digital centers in many locations. As of last year, we signed these locations, and we are now in process of expanding further to these locations. So let's talk a little bit about aerospace specifically. We have recognized a few problems when it comes to knowledge transfer in aerospace. One of the major ones is cost. It's very expensive to have access to a physical aircraft. Also to train everything in a hands-on way requires both time and skills. A lot of the equipment in aerospace become much more complex, and extensively there are new risks introduced both with respect to personnel and equipment. Quality has always been a high priority in aerospace, and if you look at traditional classroom training and you want to do hands-on experience, it doesn't support really problem solving or critical thinking. And also more important, it's very difficult to assess using these traditional methods the skills that someone has acquired. So what do we do? How can we use augmented and virtual reality to address some of these challenges? First of all, we can achieve faster learning, learn by doing. People learn faster, remember long, and make better decisions. There's evidence for that, and we have ample evidence from aerospace. You also retain information in a better way. The other thing is, let's say, even if you learn something in the field, you may forget it. So we have the ability to provide what we refer to as contextual knowledge injection. Practically speaking, using advanced augmented reality technology, and knowledge can be displayed in front of your eyes and guide you to a procedure so you know what you have to do. Safety, this is something we focus a lot on. We can simulate very dangerous situations. We can actually do repeatedly crucial scenarios that you wouldn't dare to risk with million-dollar equipment in the field. Engagement is very important. Today, when you look at a trainee in a classroom, there's a lot of boredom and also poor classroom habits that you can address by using this experience-based learning. And obviously, when it comes to assessment, it's a little bit like an aircraft simulator. We know what you do every second, every minute, where you looked, which buttons you pushed, and so on, and we can assess you in a very comprehensive way. I was telling you a little bit about the platform. So one component of this is the ability to publish, to develop content and publish either in augmented reality or virtual reality or even just mobile. The ability to yourself adapt that content so in an easy way that doesn't require programming. We do have a vast library of components for aerospace that we developed over the years, as well as the ability to be in a multi-user environment. So the teacher and the students can share a virtual environment, and the teacher can guide the students into that. Of course, white label and branding, so this becomes your platform as a customer or partner, and to host that. There are a number of additional modules that I'm not going to go in details. I'm just going to highlight a few. Obviously, we do provide content services. So if you want to develop a specific type of aircraft, engine, as a part of your package, we obviously have these capabilities. We also have the ability to link an application to a geoposition, which is important. It's a little bit like Pokemon Go, but in a context of a room, an environment, or even a product. We have links to CMS, and we are now also engaged in artificial intelligence, to link artificial intelligence to augmented reality, and I'll speak about that later on in my slides. and so on. There's a special application for a VR training simulator that then integrates back to SAP and Oracle that we can talk more about one-on-one. So here you see some of the outline described components with more fidelity. Now, so having the platform, what can we do? So application areas in aerospace entail things like maintenance, repair, operation, demonstrating certain specific feature in a visual way in an aircraft, conducting an interior configuration of, have both interior and exterior, and also supporting product launches. Similarly, if you go from the civil use to defense use, we have experience of doing a number of things, including virtual equipment testing, weapons training, judgmental use of force, situational exercise, and so on. A lot of these projects are highly confidential, as you may understand. So what does studies show of the benefits by implementing virtual reality or augmented reality? So we've seen, for example, service technician training being conducted up to 12 times faster with good retention, moving from a classical training in a classroom to more of augmented reality-based solution. Operators training, we've seen 63% cost saving reduction. So this is pretty consistent whether you look at aerospace or you look at oil and gas. We see a similar pattern. So in essence, by using this platform, you are more efficient, more productive. But we also, by having this agnostic approach to hardware, you can move your training from a full room to just using a very inexpensive VR headset, and in essence, have the same content seamlessly deployed. So there's a lot of benefits with this approach that we've seen that all boil down, among other things, to being cost efficient. I'm not going to bore you with that. What I will focus, though, is to demonstrate some concrete customers' use cases. The first one is from the Civil Aviation Authority in Singapore. So their target here was to use virtual reality to reduce the need to access the physical aircraft with 70%. That results both in significant cost and time savings, and at the same time improve the efficiency of transfer of knowledge. They selected to deploy this initially on an iCube 5 wall system, which is a little bit like a holodeck. And I have a brief video that I want to share with you that demonstrates this. So I intentionally use this very simple example. As you'll see, we have quite more advanced applications here. But even in this simple example, you can see how we developed with segment matter experts a number of realistic features that you have to conduct and in the simulation environment have to go through and can be assessed how well you perform. Both exterior but also cabin crew training simulators that we developed. So the challenge of inspecting every part of the aircraft before takeoff was one of them. The need for cost-efficient training and the inability to simulate potential situations that are risky in this case. So the outcome here is we were able to reduce the cost significantly, so reach the target without reducing the quality based on assessments we conducted, and also virtually prepare for these real situations that do happen occasionally. So a very positive outcome. And so from that, let's move to another one. This is Bombardier, a large producer of aircrafts, as you know. They are using this for interactive and captivating business jet interiors configuration. So the challenge was, how can we tell a compelling story about a specific aircraft, and how can we look at configuring different colors, different materials, different pieces of equipment interactively, either using a large screen kind of virtual reality environment or using some type of handheld device. The key benefits of doing that is obviously that you can, from 1,000 potential permutation, build on the fly the aircraft the way you want to have it look, and also as a consequence also estimate the price, because the interior, depending which equipment you pick, which design interior, it affects obviously the price. So another application was for United Airlines. United Airlines was looking to something quite similar to what I showed in my first example, which is a maintenance training application. And they wanted to train pre-flight checks without needing trainees to come into contact with the physical aircraft. But now we talk about much larger aircrafts than the one I showed you originally. Boeing has been also, we've been working with them with multiple projects over the last, I think it's more than 3 dozen large projects with them over the since we started the relation very early, I think more than 10 years ago actually. One of these applications is more around developing photorealistic interactive sales applications that demonstrate what this new aircraft is going to look like and what the benefits are. So everything you see here is actually not physical aircrafts. All that is real-time interactive solutions of the aircraft. And there's a lot of benefits here, as you may imagine, with engaging customers, allowing them the ability to configure it for their own needs, etc. Let's move on to helicopters. This is an example from Europe, Eurocopter. We've developed for them a full immersive virtual reality application of the Eurocopter. The helicopter was able to fly. We could simulate both the exteriors. It was a way that they use this, for example, for trade shows, but also for internal presentations. And this can be moved also. We haven't done it yet in this case, but to augmented reality. What we liked about the application, it was scalable from internet to PC to laptop, all the way to multi-wall 3D environments. So why now? Why, if you are involved in the aerospace market and are looking at virtual reality, augmented reality, why would you do it now? There's a number of reasons, but one obvious reason is that during the last 3-4 years, there's been an explosion in new type of devices, cost-efficient ones for virtual reality and augmented reality. Facebook, Samsung, Google, Microsoft, and Sony are just a few names of companies that have developed this type of devices. And if you look at where virtual reality is used, although today a lot of people talk about consumer application, gaming, entertainment, in fact, a lot of this growth, or 85% of this growth, is expected to come from non-gaming sources. According to Goldman Sachs in a report, they estimate that areas such as engineering, military, aerospace will be areas where this technology will be deployed, and that's what we're seeing. And that's why we as a company have focused a lot in developing a large capacity in terms of resources and a platform to address these needs. How big will this market know? Well, nobody really knows. What we know, and many expect, it's going to be a big market. Some estimates talk about 150 billion by 2020. We've seen numbers from Citibank and also Goldman Sachs that over decades exceeds that. An interesting market that we believe will have a large impact on aerospace is what we refer to as the smart worker. That is because there are a lot of workers today that need some type of support, contextual knowledge on the spot in their work and market space. And why do we think that aerospace will be very well positioned to benefit from that? Is because aerospace already is using sensors, putting low-cost chips in different parts of the aircraft, and what we refer to as IoT, Internet of Things. And these sensors are providing information into the cloud that can then be filtered by machine learning, artificial intelligence, etc. And that information can, with the use of augmented reality, be provided to workers in the field. So that's very exciting. That's something we are just seeing the beginning. We've started with pilots. We've had some implementations. But we believe that this could provide a huge benefit for the aerospace segment over the coming years. Creating in a factory floor something you may want to refer as an illuminated world where workers actually not only get the knowledge and the steps they need to take, but also are viewed and actions, let's say the quality assurance aspect of what they do can be captured and refined. With that, I would like to thank you so much for your attention. I know we just scratched the surface on this topic. There's many more aspects of this that I would like to discuss with you one-on-one, and more important to understand your needs, interests. I'm sure you have questions. If you do have them, feel free to reach out to us. You have the contact information related to this webinar. And we very much look forward to continue this dialogue and see the further potential for us to work together in this important area. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and goodbye.